Michigan, his voice, his movement. Just go ahead and commit to it.
I'm going to move the seat back. It's all right.
That's fine with me.
So, before we go, I just thought I always like to mention something that Eckhart told me.
Well, what was that?
Life is a journey.
That is true.
Life is a journey.
Life is the journey.
It's not about the destination.
I agree.
It's about the journey.
One day. You just live for the moment.
Good.
Yes. Tell me about your experience with life.
I want to know because.
And I want to know because my friend Gail always asks me. We always talk about these things. And I talk about them on my show a lot. Yes, with different guests. And so I always like to know the different people that I come in contact with about their own lives.
Well, I just believe that you should live every moment as it's your last.
Well,
So that's how I try to live my life.
And tell me, how did you learn that? Because I want to know. You didn't ever know I do that. Because I want to know, because again, like I say, I always like to, I keep a record of these things in my head. Keep a record. So tell me about your experience. You learned that from your childhood? Is that
No, from
right?
my shrink.
Oh, okay.
What's your shrink's name? Go into more detail.
My shrink, Dr. Bob.
Bob.
Dr. Bob.
Okay. Is he on 52nd Street down the way? I've had another guest that told us about him.
No, he's actually dead, but he wrote a book, and so I read his book. I consider him to be my shrink, and it was him that taught me to do everything just one day at a time.
Well, he died.
But yes, he's passed on. He published his book in 1935, if I'm not mistaken.
Because he was in the studio just last week.
Really? This must be a different guy. But I think this interview is we're going to go ahead and pull over.
All right.
All right.
So I need a cappuccino.
Great job.
Yeah.
Here's
Oprah Winfrey.
and then let me go on to
Oprah?
yeah.
Gail,
This friend Gail.
my friend
See,
Gail.
that would have gave it away if we just done that.
Well, here's what I loved about it. He didn't say hello, which was fine if he would have. You know, it just seemed to me that he did a committed character. You know, and when he said Gail, oh, it was Oprah, and then it clicked for me. It was like, oh, I can see that he's doing Oprah, but I didn't need to know that he was doing Oprah. I just really liked the character. You know, I just want to get to know people. You know, love that.
I'm sorry.
Love that he committed. It didn't matter. It wasn't. It's not about guessing. It is, and I love when and the reason I want to hear, I only ask. I know, and I know
I'm just giving you a hard time.
Yeah.
But I know you're trying to jog us, which I love.
Not really jog you. What I'm trying to do is get you to add more details, okay? And the reason I'm trying to get you to add more details, just that one extra sentence. I call it the second sentence. It's when we give that little description, when we go past the vague, when we go past the generic, that's when we create stuff that only you can create. Only you can create. Now I'm over. You can create. Does that make sense? And when you went into my psychiatrist, Dr. Bob, you know, he's dead now. And stuff like that, when you added those details, you created something that only you could create. Does that make sense? And then we just thought it was hilarious because he created a very interesting character.
Yes.
When we hold that stuff back out of fear that we're going to get it wrong, when we're getting something that we're creating that's brand new, that we're going to get it wrong, that's something that no one else has ever seen before, we're worried about getting it wrong, fuck that. You know, just play. But add that extra sentence. Does that make sense? And when I only ask, that's when you give out your point of view. All we're looking for is this character's point of view. And we don't need to see real, we live real life. Let's make fun life here. Does that make sense? Let's do interesting things. Let's watch people get divorced over a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. That might be real life in some cases.
Then I like that.
Does that make sense? Let's watch people want to vote for their dog for president. Let's see what that's like, as long as the truth is true. Does that make sense? Cool. Hey guys,
This is my